covfefe mean?
Transport or carry to a place. There is one more, if you'd like it.
No, you suck! Oi, acne face. Do you know what covfefe means?
Did you just call me acne?
That's besides the point. Do you know what covfefe means?
That word is fake. Do you know what a beating means?
Of course I do. Do you?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna give you.
I may not know what covfefe is, but in my heart I know what it means. Oh, jeez.
And I quit the show after last week because I didn't do it. And my excuse for that is it was Memorial Day. When in reality, I just didn't want to do anything. So there you go, there's my answer for that. Yeah. So this week, you already saw a skit. First skit I made, and I'm pretty proud of it. Trump's covfefe tweet. This is not the last you'll be hearing of that this week. I'm going to be talking about it as one of my jokes. So this week there's quite a bit to cover. We've got, Trump's decision to pull out of the Paris Agreement. We have Kathy Griffin doing some weird crap. And we have a guest tonight who is my manager and also my dad. We're gonna have a little fun today. I'm not sure how much he'll embarrass me, but really we're here. He's gonna be there to talk about policy and all the mistakes and what's going on with the Trump administration currently, which is actually a lot. So I've narrowed it down to 3 questions. Now, this week, there's only going to be a short, main headline segment, only it's going to be something I like to call, What the Trump? Yeah, there we go, that's what they call it. News for all of you. Let me just show you really quickly. I have something to show you. And that is the newest fashion trend. Oh, you just saw that I'm not wearing pants. It is the newest fashion trend that they might call glasses. So, let me stop these. They look hot. What do you think? Oh, forget I ever did that. Okay, we got a great show tonight. My manager is here, as I said, and let's get right into the news. Okay, thank you everyone. Alright, shut up. I got work to do. Alright, let's get right into the headlines. I'm just going to be reading them off of this because I didn't have time to memorize them or get them onto the teleprompter this week, so yeah, it's going to be a little messy, as you can probably imagine. So, President Trump tweeted on Wednesday. Now, that may not come as a surprise to you, but it's what he tweeted that's shocking. Right? And even that may not come as a surprise to you. Take a look. Covfefe? That not real. Now, what's even funnier is that the president tweeted the Covfefe tweet in the middle of the night when none of his staff was awake. And so the media exploded joking about Covfefe. Trump later tweeted, after deleting the Covfefe tweet, "Who can guess what Covfefe means?" As he tweeted that as if he did it on purpose. But, I mean, who's buying that story? Oh. I'm sorry, I should have known. Comedian and enemy of blondes Kathy Griffin had her ties with CNN severed on Tuesday. This happened, as I'm sure you know because it's been all over the news, because she posed holding a severed Donald Trump head. Now, I'm no fan of Trump, but man, that is bad. That's worse than the time when Wolf Blitzer had shown up to the Situation Room butt naked. All right, we have a situation. A dog ate all of my suits. I'm glad you found that one so funny. There was a huge terrorist attack in London on Saturday. 7 people died as a result and 48 people were injured. The terrorist attack took place on London Bridge. Now, a terror attack is not a trivial matter, and it should not be joked about. However, there is a reaction I can joke about. Trump tweeted slamming London's mayor after the mayor of London said there is no reason to be afraid. Trump literally attacks people who have been attacked. It's like if Katniss Everdeen walked into that hospital with all of the wounded people saying, "My God, it smells like a death could barf in here. Take a shower, people." Right, Gail? Looked up. Okay. Not sure how that one's going to be taken when I publish it. Russian President Vladimir Putin denies that he has any compromising information on Trump, calling the accusation nonsense. Now, that answer is expected because this is the Trump administration we're talking about, and Trump literally thinks that if a Cheeto falls down a sewer, it's nonsense that it's gone forever. Those are all of the jokes I have for now. Don't worry, they're definitely not ending anytime soon. I'll be right back. All right, so now it is time for a segment that I like to call What the Trump. Or if you really want, you can call it What the Trump Just Happened. All right, that falls into the same category as the Covfefe tweet. Now, I'm sure you have all heard the news that our unique president decided to pull out of the Paris Agreement, something that aims to control and minimize climate change. Now, this is really bad considering that America is responsible for 1/3 of the pollution that contributes to global warming. Trump, however, seemed very pleased about pulling out of the Paris Agreement. He mentioned the fact that America pulled out of the the Paris Agreement, more times than Anne with an E has traumatic flashbacks. The newly elected French president, Emmanuel Macron, gave a 4-minute-long speech in English. You know, someone made an idiotic decision when a French person speaks in a language other than French. You know it. Now, he said in English that he will continue to support the Paris Agreement and he will support America's decision to pull out of the Paris Agreement. And he said he doesn't agree with the decision, but he truly hopes that we can still make Earth great again. You know, Macron, I love you, man. I'm glad you won the election. But I don't think you should say anything that has anything to do with Trump's campaign. Don't. Just don't. It's not a good idea. Now, Mr. Trump, I have a few words for you. Pull out of this. So, here we go. Trump, every day you seem to amaze me more and more. I thought at first you were just a completely incompetent, pig-kissing, maggot-eating, horse-crapping moron. But I gotta hand it to you. You have proven me right. 100%. You have proven me right 100%, Mr. Trump. You have proven me right 100%. You literally couldn't locate France on a map, even if you had a Harvard professor to help you. He would point France on the map, and you would sit there and say, no, that's China. France is a city in China. You got it all wrong. Now, you're the kind of guy that would eat ice cream even if special services told you, Mr. President, don't eat that. It's been poisoned. You're that kind of guy. Mr. President, you're so fat that they had to get out Air Force One extra large to carry just you. And you know what, Mr. President? I think you had to pull out because you have some softwood in Canada. This has been What the Trump. And let me just tell you what the Trump is going on here. I'm SC9, and we will be back with my father and my manager, and he will give his thoughts on all this and then some. Thank you, everybody. Boom! All right, welcome back. And tonight, our first and only guest is my, I guess you could call him manager as well as my father. Please welcome Mr. Sean. You're my first guest on the show, and I know you've watched it.
Yeah, love the show.
Yeah, you've watched both episodes. So, of course, I have 3 questions for you, because this is a political comedy show, you know, I have 3 questions for you about the Trump administration, but before you do, I just want you to get in style with hair.
Alright.
Just, use that, just only one, okay,
Alright. So let's see.
Just go crazy. Boom goes the camera. I'm not gonna shake your hand when you just be clear. Not unless you like it on your shorts. So let's first here talk about Trump's reaction to terrorist attacks, because he acts, when a terrorist attack happens, he acts like how a mother would act when their child is 2 hours late from coming home from the park. Like,
oh, do you have personal experience in something like that? Is that what you're talking about?
I do.
Oh, okay.
But like, give me like your input on that issue.
Well, I'm not an expert, but for me, I think that Trump's overreaction, and especially his sparring on and off with the mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, over the last few days, certainly casts him and the country in a less than favorable light. So really disappointing, but not unexpected, coming from
absolutely not
from a
unexpected.
disastrous administration.
I'm sorry, it's just very difficult to take you seriously with that hair.
Oh, no problem. Here, let me fix it.
Oh my god.
Better? I'm trying to help. I'm just trying to help.
It's better. Now, you of course, because you're even a bigger news junkie than I am, I'll read a few articles a week and I'm like, okay, that's all I need. You literally will sit on the toilet and read news articles. And you'll interrupt work to read something big. So, this whole FBI investigation is crazy. And, I just want to know what you make of it. Because on one hand, you have the FBI confirming that there is an investigation into the Trump administration. And on the other hand, you have the Trump administration swearing up and down that it's fake. Which, just to be clear, we know what they're saying is fake. And I think most people wholeheartedly trust the FBI. Not wholeheartedly, but trust the FBI to a greater extent as the Trump administration. So just, what's your kind of input on that, Temple Father?
Well, as you probably know, we're going to have Comey testifying on Thursday.
Yeah, I do know.
And so that'll be interesting, though. I think people in general should maybe manage their expectations and keep in mind that he's working hand in hand with Mueller, who's running the special counsel.
Right, who's also a former FBI director himself.
Right, and since there are investigations ongoing, it may very well be that Comey has to sort of redact a lot of what he says and be really careful about how he speaks. But it's going to be interesting, and I'm looking forward to it, and we'll see. Asking a sitting director of the FBI to end an investigation that involves you sure seems like obstruction of justice to me, but what do I know?
Yeah, what does anybody know? What does anybody know? All right, so lastly, just this last question. By the way, it was much easier to take you seriously with that hair, just to be clear.
Yeah, cool.
Much easier. So this is obviously like the biggest story this week, like next to the terrorist attack in London. What do you think, and I kind of already know the answer to this because you've already spoken a little bit to me about it. What do you think of Trump's decision to pull out of the Paris Agreement?
Well, I think no matter what way you look at or view that decision, if you view it as a symbolic decision, sure, maybe you could feel a reason to celebrate a little bit. But anybody who wants to go just beyond that sort of facade of making people feel good, the MAGA folks feel good about things by pulling out of that agreement, very few people realize the U.S. could set its own limits on carbon emissions in that agreement. They literally could set their own limits on it.
Right.
There wasn't anything particularly binding about it. So really what we've done is we have ceded global leadership to China. And we're doing it without a shot being fired and without really there being any need for us to do so. So sad.
Yeah, and it's especially bad because the Paris Agreement helps limit and control pollution, and it helps, what's the word I'm looking for? It helps control climate change, and the United States is responsible for 1/3 of the pollution that causes global warming, as I mentioned previously in the show. And so, it's just it's a bad situation. And it's bad if Emmanuel Macron, the French president, a French person, it's bad if he spoke a language other than French.
Yeah, no, that definitely, I think pigs are flying and it's really chilly in hell as well. But,
yeah,
but here we are, and in the end, it's the continuing stupidification of America, our politics, and our role in the world. I hope at some point we can all make our exit from this situation and hopefully move on to a new president, because this one, this one definitely is clearly at best guilty of a few crimes, and at worst certainly somebody who is a danger to our entire life, our entire democracy. So
yeah, and just one thing before you go, I want to mention something. It's kind of about it kind of goes into the Watergate territory. So the Secretary of Defense.
I used to eat at the Bob's Big Boy across the street from the Watergate Hotel.
Oh, did you?
Make sure you put some laugh track in at that part.
Yeah. But no. So during Watergate, when that whole scandal was around, Nixon went glug, 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 and got really emotional. And so the Secretary of Defense, took away Nixon's privileges to launch nuclear missiles on his own, and it would have to go through him first. Trump is emotional even when he's not drunk, and he doesn't drink at all. So do you think that it has something to do with his brother? Like his brother drank and smoked and died, and he swore never to do that or something. It's like the only good thing Trump does is that he doesn't drink or smoke.
Yeah, the rest of it more than cancels it out though.
Yeah, definitely. But do you think that Mad Dog Mattis has something similar in place so Trump doesn't go ballistic and ends the world with nuclear missiles?
Well, I think that there are concerns about Trump's mental health. He certainly shows signs of dementia, and I think it's out there. People have talked a lot about it. None of us are doctors, and especially none of us are his doctor. But we can all observe, we can all view, he gets confused very easily, he forgets things, he isn't really living in the real world in terms of what he actually talks about and perceives happening around him. So hopefully, I can say that hopefully, and it wasn't the Secretary of Defense wholesale taking that privilege away from Nixon. He was just inserting himself as a second person who must sign off on a nuclear strike. So,
yeah.
hopefully, given everything, there are enough people with enough sense in the U.S. government to institute a similar policy. But who knows? We won't find out for years and years.
Yeah, definitely. Mr. Sean, everybody, thanks.
Hey, great thanks for having me.
All right, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and comment and subscribe, and comment down below your thoughts on this whole propaganda thing. Thanks for watching for Monday Night IMS Tonight, and I will see you next week if I don't find an excuse to stop next week. Thanks for watching, everybody.